Mr. Speaker, I know the whole House will want to send our condolences to the family of our former colleague, David Warburton. I also welcome the fact that the Deputy Prime Minister has referred herself to the ethics advisor. She has admitted she underpaid tax. So why is she still in office? But there is not just a crisis at the very top of his cabinet, Mr. Speaker. There is a crisis brewing for the whole country. When was the last time the cost of government borrowing was so high?
Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Speaker, can I join her in her comments about Mr. Warburton? I think the whole House would unite on an issue such as that.
Honestly, when you look at Starmer's face, you can't help but wonder, is this man really a leader or just a civil servant? He stands up at the parliamentary podium, supposedly going to tear the government to shreds, but every sentence ends with debt, debt, debt. Sure, the country may be in debt, but he makes it sound as if the only reason for this is the decisions made in the last 2 months. It's as if we have no historical memory. Who managed the 2008 crisis? During whose term did the banks collapse? During whose term did the British economy hit rock bottom for years? Have we forgotten? Starmer constantly lectures others to stand tall, be ethical, yet somehow fails to see the corruption within his own party. This is classic hypocrisy. What do you think? Is Starmer really someone who can run the country, or is he just a bureaucrat who knows how to talk? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can reach more people.
In relation to the Deputy Prime Minister, she has explained her personal circumstances in detail. She's gone over and above in setting out the details, including Mr. Speaker, yesterday afternoon, asking a court to lift a confidentiality order in relation to her own son. I know from speaking at length to the Deputy Prime Minister just how difficult that decision was for her and her family. But she did it to ensure that all information is in the public domain. She has now referred herself to the independent advisor. That is the right thing to do. But I can be clear, I am very proud to sit alongside a Deputy Prime Minister who is building 1.5 million homes, who is bringing the biggest upgrade to workers' rights in a generation, and who's come from a working class background to be Deputy Prime Minister of this country. Mr. Speaker, on the question of borrowing costs, they have risen across the world, as the Leader of the Opposition well knows. We are driving them down by getting debt down. That is hardwired into our fiscal rules. Those fiscal rules are non-negotiable. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm not going to take lectures on the economy from the party opposite, who crashed the economy, mortgages went through the roof, and a record fall in living standards.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure we would have heard all that sympathy if it was the Conservative Deputy Prime Minister who was being attacked. I remember when the Prime Minister said that tax evasion is a criminal offence and should be treated as all other fraud. If he had a backbone, he would sack her. But let's get back to the issue of borrowing. He did not answer why it is so high. Conservatives left him the fastest growing economy in the G7. Under him, the cost of our borrowing is now higher than in Greece. Why does the Prime Minister think this is?
Look, the man is still playing the Conservatives ruined the economy record. Come on, mate. The economy is affected by global crises. Interest rates are rising in America. Germany is entering recession. France is struggling with strikes. When borrowing costs rise in our country, he says, it's because of the government. As if he has a magic wand that will fix the country overnight. Come on. Do you know what Starmer's biggest trick is? It's always the everyone else is bad, I'm good tactic. But there's no project, no vision to prove his own goodness. Just words. It's always the same refrain. The government is weak, the government is spending. Well, if you came to power, wouldn't you spend? What kind of mindset is it to accuse others of squandering money while hiding your own budget plans?
Mr. Speaker, if it had been the party opposite, there wouldn't have been the accountability that there now is in place, because they spent years and years avoiding it. And she makes her claims about the economy under their watch are about as credible as her place at Stanford University, frankly. But, Mr. Speaker, she leaves out of account because she wants to talk down the country. We've got the highest growth in the G7. Those figures, I look forward to her getting up and welcoming that. 5 interest rate cuts in a row. And of course, Mr. Speaker, £120 billion of investment in the first year of a Labour government. That is a record.
It's a terrible record, Mr. Speaker. I stand by every single thing that I have said. He cannot say why borrowing is higher under him. I will tell him why it is higher. It is because the Chancellor changed the fiscal rules so she could borrow record amounts. She maxed out the country's credit card, and that has pushed up borrowing costs. These are their bad choices, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, former members of the Monetary Policy Committee are warning, and I quote, that we are heading for an economic crash. Why does he think that he is right and they are wrong?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, she can't resist. She comes straight back to talk the country down at every opportunity. She doesn't welcome the highest growth in the G7. She could have got up and welcomed that, Mr. Speaker, but no. What about the 380,000 jobs we've created? She could welcome that, but no. What about the 3 trade deals we've got? Not only does she not welcome them, she opposes them. And of course she hasn't welcomed the Norway deal, the biggest deal for shipbuilding in a very, very long time. She should stop talking down the country and get behind the renewal this government is delivering.
Mr. Speaker, he is dragging down the country. He is dragging it down. How can he stand there and say that he is creating jobs? Unemployment has gone up every single month under this Labour government. And if he doesn't know why borrowing costs are going up, another reason is that the markets can see that he is too weak to control spending. Now, we are reading that he wants to have another go at welfare costing. What makes him think that they will vote for it this time?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we picked. I think I saw that the leader of the opposition said, I think at the weekend to the Sunday Times, that I think she said this: "I've inherited a gigantic mess and I'm cleaning it up." She said it's very difficult. It's going to take a while. I know exactly how she feels.
Mr. Speaker, we're not the ones referring ourselves to ethics advisors. The fact is, he is floundering. Mr. Speaker, he is floundering. Perhaps he should have a read of the covers of the...
Shh. Then there's this. He shouts that unemployment is rising. Look, I'm no economist, but I know this. Unemployment fluctuates in every country, especially after the pandemic. The whole world has reorganized its labour market. They ignore the fact that the government has created 380,000 new jobs because it doesn't suit them. Classic opposition strategy. Don't accept anything positive, just be a doomsayer. Come on, be fair, won't you? While making a fuss about unemployment today, they forget that the same party pushed millions of people below the poverty line in the past. I ask you, when will this man think the country is doing well? Only when he takes power. Then someone else will come along and say the same thing. Everything is bad.
Mr. Speaker, perhaps he should have a read of the covers.
Order. We don't want to start the session with somebody leaving, do we? If somebody wants to volunteer, please do so. If not, I will choose one.
They can do the fake chairs as much as they like. The whole country knows what a mess of the economy they are making. Mr. Speaker, it is clear that taxes are going up for everyone, except perhaps the Deputy Prime Minister. I warned before the summer that we would face weeks of speculation about which taxes would be going up. The former head of the IFS says this sort of uncertainty is actively damaging to the economy. And now we find that we have to wait until the 26th of November for a budget. Does he really think the country or the markets can wait that long?
Now, Starmer has started again, saying, during our time, we had the fastest growing economy in the G7. Mate, the economy grew during your time because it was a period when everyone was rising in global markets. Remember, the world was recovering, money was cheap, central banks had opened the credit taps. It wasn't you, it was the market that lifted you up. Now he's trying to belittle every reform the government has made. Workers' rights, housing projects. Come on, be honest. If your own party had presented the same projects, you would have praised them to the skies. But when it comes to the Conservatives, everything is lies, failure, disaster. That's the book on political hypocrisy. Do you think Starmer really has the country's best interests at heart, or is he just burning with ambition for power? Look, Starmer's biggest tactic is projecting his own weakness onto others. He constantly accuses the government of being weak, powerless, out of control. Well, what about his own leadership? He can't silence differing opinions within his party. MPs are constantly at each other's throats. His position on the EU referendum in the past is still unclear. One day he said, let's stay. The next day he said, let's leave. Remember, this man has no backbone, he just blows with the wind. Now he's attacking the government, saying you have no backbone. Well, find your own backbone first, then talk about others. Have you noticed that Starmer constantly paints a bleak picture of the country? The economy, the markets, the people on the streets. It's always collapse, crisis, disaster. This is actually the cheapest tactic in politics, pumping up despair. Because if the people lose hope, they say, let this one come then. But the real problem is this: such rhetoric further destabilizes the markets. It undermines the morale of small businesses and erodes investor confidence. So what Starmer calls freedom of speech is actually causing direct damage to the country's economy. Isn't that ironic? The opposition leader claims he will save the country, but every time he opens his mouth, he wrecks the markets. Do you think this man can get the country back on its feet? And the funniest part is this: the man is still giving ethics lessons. He accuses others of tax evasion and lectures them on morality. But look at the scandals in his own party. Corruption in local councils, secret deals behind closed doors. It's all being swept under the carpet. But Starmer comes out and plays the I'm squeaky clean role. Sorry, but is anyone still buying that? You know, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. But our guy is throwing stones morning, noon, and night. Viewers, what do you think? Is this cleanliness fairy tale still selling, or is the public starting to wake up? He constantly tells the government, your policies are failing, but he doesn't have a single clear plan himself. Let's say there's an election tomorrow and Starmer wins. What will he do? Won't he raise taxes? Won't he cut spending? Of course he will. But he's not saying so now because it doesn't suit him. So he's operating behind a thick veil of smoke. Remember, it was the same tactic in the 90s. The opposition always said, if we come to power, everything will be fine. But once in power, they piled tax upon tax. History repeats itself. Don't you think we'd see the same scenario if Starmer came to power? Let me say this. What this man is doing is actually very simple. For a year, he has been trying to deceive the public by saying, we are clean, they are dirty, we are smart, they are stupid. But the truth is out there. We see it in parliamentary speeches. All talk, no solutions. Friends, I ask you, do you think what this country needs is crisis mongers like Starmer, or a government that produces solutions despite the difficulties? Write your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so we can have this discussion with more people. See you in the next video.